Hello everybody, Josh12 back here again with another video, and I'm here to give you my official review for Game of Thrones Season 6 finale. Yes, it's finally here, and I'm here to give you my official review for it. Now, of course, this is my review for Game of Thrones Season 6, Episode 10, titled The Winds of Winter. Of course, if you haven't seen this episode, please go check it out, because this review may contain spoilers. But that being said, let's get into the newest episode and last episode of this season for HBO's original program, Game of Thrones. Now, of course, if without elongating this intro any further, this was a jam-packed finale, I can honestly say. And of course, there are a lot of shit happened, and I can honestly say that I was finding it difficult to care for this episode. When it comes to Game of Thrones finales, it can go either way. It can be either really awesome or really lackluster, because episodes within Game of Thrones are usually better besides the ending of it. So it's kind of just one of those things that you have to accept. However, this episode, an episode I cared little for, because I already got what I wanted with the Bastards Bowl, topped it. I don't know how they did it. HBO pulled a rabbit out of their ass and basically topped themselves. This episode was phenomenal. At least in my personal opinion, I can honestly say this may be my favorite finale out of all of Game of Thrones. It was epic, it was awesome, a lot of storylines closed, a lot of setup happening for, future seasons, of course, for the great battles to come towards a lot of houses and a lot of armies. But at the end, we got so much out of this finale, for anybody to actually bitch about it would be really ridiculous. But moving off of that, let's get into the actual shit that happened. This was supposed to be the great trial against Lannister versus Sparrow. And of course, it's the ending of that. Cersei basically goes Walter White in this episode and kills everybody less than 5 minutes. And I can honestly say, it is phenomenal. I'm not the biggest Cersei fan, but I can honestly say Lena Headey topped herself. She's so freaking good. She's such a great villain for this show, and she does it with oh my god. There's not even a word for it. She's just phenomenal. And by the end, from beginning to end, you don't really understand what's really happening. You kind of get the setup that, okay, well, maybe she's just killing off the little people before the actual trial happens, just to get them out of the way, because maybe she has some kind of, ace up her sleeve. But at the end, you finally find out what's really happening within this season finale with the Lannister storyline, which is, I think the best way I can exemplify it is, think of the Lannisters as like a company. This season finale basically, and this trial, made it public to the world of what this company is. For the remainder of this entire series, the Lannisters have always had power over Westeros and the Iron Throne. They've always owned that shit. But because of what happened prior to this series, it's done through the banner or the facade of the Baratheon name. The Baratheon name is gone now because all the sons are dead. Spoilers, King Tommen basically kicks the bucket, he eats the bullet, so to speak, because, he was a dummy. So he's gone. The Tyrells are pretty much dead. Iron Fist is dead. He needs to report to Marvel like the little bitch he is now. And that's pretty much it. Lannisters own the fucking West. They own that shit. They're done. They got it. She is now queen of King's Landing. She has the power. She has the Iron Throne. And when you realize that, by the end of this finale, with the setups of this beginning, it's like watching Hitler get power over America. It's like that terrible, but also epic in the sense of the show of a moment. Because you knew she always had the power, but now it's out there in the world that it's legitimate. It's legitimized that she has it. Granted, it's kind of iffy politically, where it's like, how does that go from here to there? Whatever. It is what it is. She has the power. She has the Iron Throne. She has the crown. She owns that shit. But for how long? That's the real big question, which I'll get into later, Af. Now, moving off of that, the fray. The fray was a very interesting aspect out of this episode because it was a big question mark, which is, why have it? We already got the open and close of that storyline with the death of Blackfish. However, apparently Arya Stark came back for revenge for that shit. And I can honestly say, I wasn't expecting it, and maybe I didn't really need it out of this episode finale, but I can honestly say it was a great addition. It was a nice little cherry on top of what the epicness was of this finale. Arya Stark got revenge for her mother, for her brother, against the fray, sliced that fucker in half. I love the actor, but the character sucked, and she got fucking what she needed. Now she's in the north. Is she going to go back home or is she going to do some side missions? Who knows, but for the most part, it was pretty epic to see that. Sam, he's got fucking the library and he's reading shit, so I guess that's going to come up later on. And of course, moving off of that, the north. I can honestly say Jon Snow legitimized is pretty epic. There's several things that happen with the Jon Snow story of this fucking finale, and it's one of those things where it's like, I think all of us can now live in our world of fan fiction, where it's like, we got King of the North, Jon Snow, we got the answer of R plus L equals J. All we need now is Daenerys to get back the Iron Throne, marry Jon, and then there you go. She already stated she needs allies, she's going to have to marry somebody. Jon Snow's there, he's King of the North now, he could be an ally. Not to mention you have the great battle with the fucking White Walker army and fucking the Night King. Shit will go down at an extreme rate, and now our fanfiction is coming to life. Granted, everyone could just die against the White Walkers for all we know, but at the same time, I believe that this fanfiction could be a reality finally, so that's all I can really see on that front. But as it stands, it was pretty epic. We got R plus L equals J. Bran leaving Benjen, learning about the history of Jon Snow was pretty interesting. I was really not expecting that to truly happen, but it was a really nice, ending and beginning of the story of Jon Snow. It was really good to understand where he comes from. We already knew, obviously. It was the big kind of secret that we all really knew, but now we have it legitimized, which I think is phenomenal. Or is it? Who knows? It could be something completely different, but as it stands, it was really nice to see something like that go down. And of course, Jon Snow becoming King of the North was really epic. The little girl, come on, give her props. She deserves an Oscar for her fucking performance throughout the last fucking 3 episodes of this season. She's fucking phenomenal, that little girl. I forget her name because it's terribly pronounced through my idiocy, but you know who I'm talking about. She is phenomenal. Sansa dealing with Peter Baelish. It's one of those things where it's like, just put that guy in a cage and tell him to shut up already, because I love Peter Baelish. He's a great character, but what does he really want? He says he wants the Iron Throne. How are you going to sit on the Iron Throne when you already have Cersei on the Iron Throne? And you already know she ain't giving that shit up. But then you have Daenerys going up for it. And now you have Sansa that you want to be with, but she wants to be in the North. She wants to be in Winterfell. I don't understand his deal here. It's kind of one of those things where it's like, where are you fucking going? What do you really want? Fuck off. That's the best way I can put it. But as it stands, it was interesting. It was fun. It was good to see Jon become King of the North. It was cool to see Sansa stand by his side. Where are they going to go from here? They have the battle with the White Walkers. The Night King's coming. Winter has finally come. It's going to be apparently the biggest winter in thousands of years. Where they go from here, we will see. But it's still pretty good epic setup for what we inevitably will end up seeing. But with that being said, and moving off of that, Daenerys, her dragons, her army, she is finally taken over Meereen. She has everything she needs. She has her Dothraki army. She has the Greyjoy ships. She has allegedly some Dorne and fucking Tyrell power besides her as well. She has Tyrion as her hand, and she's heading towards the west. She's going to Westeros. She's going to King's Landing, and she's taking back what rightfully belongs to her. The Targaryen rises again. And it's fucking epic. It's fucking phenomenal. That's pretty much the best way. I mean, for me personally, you have Daenerys end off the finale all the time. But this one, besides maybe season 1, as the best Daenerys ending. She has her power now. She's heading towards to reclaim what's hers with her gigantic dragons. This is the setup to shit going down finally. This is the episode that's less of a finale and more of a setup and beginning for the Great War to come. The Great Game has begun. It's very terrifying, Tyrion says. She's a part of it now. She's self-proclaimed. It's just one of those things that I love to see, and now I'm just super hyped and stoked for what's to come. Unlike most seasons, for the most part, yeah, I am very excited, but not to the level I am within this one. This was truly the great setup to Jon versus the Night King, Daenerys versus Cersei, and whatever shit happens in between, of course, and maybe the combination of fire and ice coming together and seeing what happens there. That's pretty much the greatest thing that this finale could give us, and we finally got that. Overall, I love this episode. I love this finale. I love this freaking season. It's definitely up with season 2 and 3 for the best seasons out of Game of Thrones for me. And I have to give, final verdict wise, by beginning, middle, and end, it was just a solid story. Cersei, Daenerys, Jon, all the moments, fucking phenomenal. I have to give this a solid 10 out of 10. I love this finale. It's probably one of my favorite finales out of all of Game of Thrones. Maybe some people would disagree. Once again, a lot of people feel very indifferent when it comes to finales of Game of Thrones. But for me personally, this was one of the best, and I loved it. It was so freaking great. Solid 10 out of 10 for me. Let me know what you personally think in the comment section below. But, God, there was just so many things going down. What's going to happen? Obviously, I'm pretty sure it really makes you think that what's the longevity of the series now? Now that we have the great setups to Daenerys taking on Westeros and Jon taking on the White King, the Night King, what's the longevity of the series now? Like we have, I mean, like, is it like 1 to 2 seasons like we all, I guess, speculated as? Or is there still tons of more seasons to see? It really depends. I mean, like, I'm guessing next season will be the great battles, and I'm pretty sure maybe the season after that will go back to normalcy, but at the end of and maybe be the legitimate finale and end to the entire series. But as it stands, it really makes you question, which is, now that we reached this point in the story, what's the true longevity of the series now on HBO? Of course, the books are the books and they're their own thing, but for the series on the TV show side of things, what's the longevity? That's kind of like the big question I have. But overall, let me know what you think in the comment section below. I love this finale. Let me know what you think. Of course, shameless plug time. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Josh12. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. I hope you guys enjoyed. And this has been Josh12.